What's the most NSFW thing you've done at work?
Microwaved a GRP in the work microwave. For the scientists, cut a GRP in half, leaving a small amount connected, creating an 8 pattern. Put it in a microwave, turn on and it creates a plasma, superheated gas. Anyway, to stop it spitting, I put some kitchen roll underneath. Unfortunately, the superheated gas ignited the paper and we had a small fire. Did I get in trouble? Nope, the whole team was watching, even my boss. Fun times.
I mixed degreaser with bleach so mopping the floor could be done in one step. Made chlorine gas.
Let me be frank. Nowhere in the employee manual does it say I can't make chlorine gas at work. And the floor has never been cleaner.
Accidentally made an exploding steam engine out of a water pump.
Closed intake and outlet but kept her running, eh?
I worked in a warehouse for a security company. We had quite the collection of contraband confiscated from all the concerts and other events. I would usually rummage through it late at night while working. One time my buddies came to pick me up after work and we hung out throwing knives and other sharp poo at boxes. Another time I tried spraying mace and learned never to do that without eye protection. Even the lightest back spray is effing brutal. Another time I walked out of the bathroom to see my boss pointing a gun with a laser sight at me as a joke. This same boss tasered one of my colleagues while he was pulling up the warehouse gate. Suffice to say, I'm surprised I survived that job with all the crazy poo that happened there.
Took a dump in the executive suite's toilet.
Took a dump on the plant in his office.
Fell on ice in the parking lot. Died. I got better. TBI, coma, critical, recovered. Kind of famous at work as the guy that died.
Were you killed? Sadly yes, but I lived.
Ripped my suit pants and walking around the rest of the day with my white underwear exposed.
Did similar, but I work in a warehouse. And they were hot pink underwear. None of those bastards I work with ever told me. I discovered it myself at lunch and then had to go home early to change. Edit. Suppose I'll include a second story in this. So my first actual day of working at this warehouse I was told that they start at 8 a.m. I decided to come in early to get inductions and introductions out of the way. I arrived at 7:30. That morning, I had thrown on a pair of jeans and a white t-shirt with my only clean bra which was black, mistake one. Weather app said it was going to be a tropic 21 degrees which is hot for England and it may rain later, so I grabbed my waterproof windbreaker just in case and headed out, mistake 2. Mayra turned out to be monsoon weather and start at 8 feet meant that nobody turned up to the locked warehouse until 8. Half an hour later, soaked, I get in and take my coat off to dry on a radiator and my new male boss turns to look at me, balked and turned back around fast. Turns out my waterproof jacket wasn't waterproof and my white t-shirt was soaked through. You couldn't miss the black bra. So for the entire day I hid in my brand new high-vis waiting for the shirt to stop being see-through. TLDR, my boss and my co-worker's first impression of me was someone out of a wet TSHRT competition.
Sit for extended periods of time while staring into a screen.
NSFL.
Used to smoke WD on my lunch break and come in so freaking high. I planned to quit soon but noticed on my boss's calendar that there was an event called D-Test. I quit before then but always wondered if that was meant for me.
I work at a fetish clothing boutique, frequently adding new products to our webpage. My most amusing one is definitely spending the majority of my day censoring penises in sheer underwear.
Would it be fair to say in your case it's safe for work?
Took a bunch of Xanax by a little bit accident and sat on the floor for my entire 6-hour shift and then went home and slept for 15 hours straight.
What is that job where you could do nothing for 6 hours and no one would bother you? I kinda want one of those.
I work in EMS. For a long term we were excused from the HR meetings about harassment. But because of an incident before I got hired, we all had to go to a sexual harassment training with other regular office government employees. It was pretty cringe because they clearly had no idea what we dealt with. At one point the presenter was describing how we should report whenever someone makes a reference to anything sexual so it can be addressed, to which a medic asked if that included the patients who masturbated in front of us in the back of the ambulance. The presenter's only response was, "Oh my God, does that really happen?" We never had to go to an HR meeting again after that. Probably because they were not equipped for the reality of our problems.
I had a similar scenario play out when I was in a previous job. I worked at a government department in an IT engineering team. There were 4 of us. It wasn't worthwhile doing safety induction training for just 4 people, so we got lumped in with another cohort, which was forestry workers. Q an all-day safety in the workplace course that was 90% geared at industrial accidents, and then this tiny bit tacked on for safety in offices. Highlights included: what happens if you get your arm crushed in a piece of plant equipment? Or if you get splashed with acid? Or set on fire? Or my favorite, what happens if you fall into a crucible of molten steel? The answer is they push you under to end it quickly. Please boys, don't stand on a swivel chair to reach high places and use a hand cart when handling heavy IT gear. Some of the guys in our course? They'd never been to a big city before. Totally relatable. In every way. My manager got caught F-ing the cook in the walk-in, and instead of firing the manager they just moved the cook to a different store because there was no evidence, just hearsay, but a week or so later she got caught in the act with another coworker. They both got fired. That's Denny's for you.
Talk about a grand slam.
Employee at my old job found 2 employees doing it in the docking bay, and went to go tell the store manager and found the street manager doing the assistant street manager in their office. Update: the person telling thought it was funny not to get people in trouble. No one got fired from this. The whole store had to leave B.C. Everyone was getting paid to well.
Poor guy. Everyone getting laid but them.
Once stood on a swivel chair in heels to fix a light. That was very NSFW.
So you held the bulb and someone rotated the chair?
I work as a coffin carrier at a very religious private graveyard. One of them tried to open the coffin to see if his face looked good enough before we buried him. He used a Mossberg 500 shotgun as a method of suicide.
That must have been ugly. May his soul rest in peace.
Sex on the conference room table, right before a meeting. The room had a smell, so the complaint went.
Dude, I always tell my GF that our room smells like sex, but she never believes it. Says, TFUK is a sex smell.
Masturbated in the bathroom.
Boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I come on company time.
I think this counts. I'm a freelance blacksmith these days, but it's still work for me. I once put my poo in the molten steel of a sword I was making for a very Karen-like client. He'll never know, but I still feel good about it.
You forged a doo-doo sword. While trying to repair a malfunctioning electronic device, I noticed someone had wrapped frayed wiring with regular desk-grade Scotch tape about 0.005 seconds before touching it. Edit. Congratulations to you folks who know about what voltage will or won't kill a person. I am not qualified to make that distinction, and as such should not have been tasked with making a repair to such a device by people who are office workers and who also have no electrical certification or qualification.
I got daily BJs from the fry girl at A&W next to the frozen whistle dogs in the fridge.
I was the fry guy at A&W one summer. Nothing even remotely as interesting as this ever happened.
My wife and I were in the same company for a while. We made out in the office once with her back pressed up against the sexual harassment poster.
Clapped some cheeks in the walk-in fridge. Small fast food chains that are only ever busy on weekend nights are wild environments. Young me thrived.
Found the Denny's guy.
I once lifted with my back instead of my knees.
That's enough internet for today.
Stand on the top step of the ladder.
What are you doing, step ladder?
Wore sandals to a construction site. That is not safe for work.
He's not wrong.
Had sex with the owner's daughter. On the clock. Numerous times.
How big of a clock was it?
Nice try, OSHA.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Got head from a girl in accounting on a second-floor mezzanine. Reception for the business was the first floor. We were by a partition near the building's bathrooms and next to a staircase that lead to all the executives' offices. So a very high traffic area, and there were a dozen people within 30 feet of us the entire time. It was, without a doubt, really stupid. The odds of being caught and fired were pretty substantial. But I was 23 and it seemed like a great idea at the time. Which, given we weren't caught, I guess it kind of was.
Made out on the office stairs during night shift. That's all sad face.
Honestly, unless you're working in like the restaurant industry or some other one where it's known and expected everyone is effing not worth it. Like we would have been fired on the spot and it was a really good job. Definitely not the smartest thing I've ever done.
Bricklayer here. Another bricklayer was going around at tea and lunchtime and nailing people's toolboxes to the scaffold. He does this one day and proceeds to go home early and hides his tools very badly on the scaffold we were working on. So one of the blokes decides to take a poo in his toolbox and shut it up. This was on a Friday, it was there all weekend.
Stoolbox.
IV had sex with a secretary at work. We were both single, it was fun while it lasted. Eventually she got tired of the boss's BS and quit. We still fooled around until she moved.
I once made a massive pot of cheese broccoli soup while tripping balls on LSD. Didn't get fired for that though. Did, however, eventually get fired for getting very good at throwing steak knives at boxes of potatoes in the prep kitchen. I was very good at it and usually very stoned, so I would lose track while washing dishes. So one day, they came in for silverware to roll and every knife in the restaurant was stuck in the potatoes. I went out on a good note, smiley face. I was training a guy that night too.
Training the guy? Was he just watching you throw knives at the boxes of potatoes? Got my wife pregnant while we were on deployment in 2017. They put us on a night shift together. Even with 4 Kelvins plus people on a ship, we never got caught once. LMAO. Now we 2 kids deep in this bitch lol.
Greater than 4K plus people on a ship, we never got caught once. Fam, you ever think about those odds? I mean really think about, I mean maybe I'm just weird, but it seems to me there would be more for everyone to lose by speaking up about it than just keeping quiet and letting 2 co-workers bang it out for a bit and acting like you never saw it. It's not the worst thing in the world if it happened. I know when something similar happened to me, I took a piss and went back to my bunk. Doubt they knew or cared that I was ever there, but I sure wasn't about to rat 'em out over some giggly 3 a.m. shower butt sex in the barracks. That'd F up the next day at a minimum for **** all *** of us. So I just chose to take their secret to the grave with me instead.
Got a BJ after I closed up the arcade in the mall. No one saw, but anyone could have. Boned a different GF in the bathroom. Turns out, mall HR was by the arcade bathroom. They called and said they heard screaming and wanted to make sure things are okay. I took it as a compliment.
Drove a whole shift naked once. Just woke up, pounded an energy drink, drove for 11 hours, stopped, went back to bed. To edit. Jesus Christ, I thought I was going to get downvoted to hell for this one. Nope. You guys ate this poo up like a fat trucker eating some fried chicken wings at Pilot, Flying J.
Plot twist, is actually an Uber driver.
Dumb 20 years old me got caught rubbing one out by my butchy lesbian boss in our single stall shop bathroom when she walked in on me, forgot to lock it. Owner's daughter, small family company. She later told me she was bi, and wasn't offended, knew I was young and had urges. She was 34, but to use her personal bathroom from now on because it was closer to my desk, service counter, and it would keep my production up.
That sounds like a proposition from her.
Wheel, not from her at first. Boo it. She did have a girlfriend I got acquainted with at one of our Christmas parties.
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.